So it gets in close, and this is what happens to the bug when he doesn't respect the power. Big light show. Yeah. There he is, toasted. And then I'd ask the kids, does he respect the power now? And they say, no. Why? He's dead. And it's right. Because sometimes it's too late. You know, God can be powerful and it can be too late. And that's the whole thing going on here, is in respecting the power. There is a business side to power. Now, I could say that in effect, I'm in a benevolent relationship with you. It likes me more than it likes you. But the point is, in this benevolent relationship, is that power is used to my good. I hang it up, and all those bugs who might give me West Nile or something get toasted, and I'm protected. So I'm in a positive relationship with that power. But let me tell you, if I decide I'm not going to respect the power, and I decide to take the screen off and just lick my finger and stick it in there, well, guess what? The power is going to give me the business end too. Because I didn't respect it. That is the essence of real power. There is a business side, there is a wrath to real power. And it happens when we do not respect. When we do not acknowledge what it is fully capable of, what it can do. Power is power. There is a wrath to God. Not to kid ourselves. That's life-giving power, is knowing who to fear. Life, we will fear something, but it's knowing who and how to fear. And it is the parable of the 10 talents. Everybody knows that one, probably. There's one fellow who, let's get it straight there as far as we're dealing in Matthew 25, if you want to read that later. But I'm just going to tell you the story so we get it. There's a master of the house, i.e. the Lord. And the Lord starts giving gifts. He gives talents. Talent in this case was money in this, but we're talking whatever the economy of God is to you, your gifts. And for one, he gives them 5. What? Lucky dude. Go out with your 5 and multiply them. Invest them in the world and multiply my investment in you. Great, off you go. Another, he could like his 2. But I mean, those are 2 good talents. Go out and invest them in the world and multiply. Sure thing, off he goes. Final God, giving you 1. Do your best, here you go. I know this is what you can handle. Here's your 1, off you go. And he goes off with the 1. Well, okay, pop Bible quiz here. What does the guy with 5 talents do? Yeah, he doubles, right? He ends up with 10. Then we come to the guy with 1. What does he do? He buries it. He buries it. And do you know what he's doing in doing this? He doesn't lose. He doesn't gain. It's status quo. It is, I'm afraid of what might happen in the world if I go out with this talent. So, status quo. I won't lose it. I won't gain, but I won't lose. Status quo. That's what he does. So, they come back, and the master says to the one who's multiplied 10 times, yeah, I know, you did a good and faithful servant, right? You did all right. Then the one with the 1 talent comes, and this is where it always kind of bothered me. It says, it sounded so harsh. This guy comes up, and he says, I was afraid. There's the big thing. I had fear. I was afraid, so I buried it. I know you're a hard master, and you reap where you don't sow and all this really rough stuff. So I was afraid of you, and so I buried this in the ground. And then it sounds like God being in the parable says, you knew I was rough and harsh and beat up people and hit them with sticks and stuff, and yet you didn't do anything with this. And I thought, well, why is God affirming all this harsh talk? It's just always kind of rubbed me. Until I started realizing the fellow was lying. He's lying. That one thing, if you tell somebody to go out and do something, it's Jim, here's a bag of gold. Go out and do this and do what you're told. And Jim goes out and he doesn't do anything with it. He doesn't listen to me at all. He's not afraid of me. That's for sure. Because he comes back and he says, well, I'll come up with some kind of words some kind of story, but I'm not going to bother doing what I'm told. I'll just take it easy, status quo. That's what this fellow did. He lied to his Lord. He lied straight out, and he used fear as the excuse. What the master does is then takes his own words and traps them in his own lie. You say I'm like this. You say you know I'm a hard dude. You say you know all of this, and you still didn't do anything. So I'm going to be a hard dude, and I'm going to take away from you. He just simply trapped him in his own lie. The problem with the man deals exactly with what we're talking about. There was no godly fear. That's why, and the result was he held the status quo. So what was the result for this guy? Matthew 12:28. Therefore take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has more will be given, and he will have abundance. For from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And you go, oh, so harsh. Really? It's just good business. Why should God pour out his Spirit on a place that does nothing with it? And when we don't have that godly fear, it'll show up in ways like this. A church will end up in the death grip of complacency. Everything's just fine. I'm comfortable. This is the way we always did it. That type of thing. It'll just continue. It'll show up in ways that it will be inward looking. That, you know, what matters is what's going on in here. I mean, the rest of the world, well, whatever. It'll show up in ways that we will not see the broader scope of what God's doing. God is not working even in this church or Coatesville. He's working with humanity in the entire world. We ever lose the global picture, then we're following into a bad spot. It'll be that we'll fixate on the physical challenges and totally miss the spiritual ones. That's the type of thing that happens. And that is life-stealing fear, not life-giving fear. Fear, there will be fear. That's part of life. The thing we have a choice is how